The power of the UP was on display this March in East Lansing as Ishpeming girls basketball won its first state championship in program history. Joined alongside by Keegan Cooper, I'm Kevin McNulty, and it's time to take a deep dive on the Hematites title run.
And we'll tell you about some of the extraordinary people who made it all possible. This is UP Power. Hematites bring home the hardware.
Welcome in, everyone. Kevin McNulty and Keegan Cooper here with you in the land of the Hematites, ready to look back at an unforgettable run for these girls in this community. It was a magical one, wasn't it, Keegan?
Yeah, it was, Kevin. 28-1 at the end, from start to finish, utter dominance from the Hematites, and it all starts with district play. And as we look back on the playoff run, it all started in the district semifinal as Ishpeming had earned a bye in the first round. The Hematites took care of Lawns with a 75-44 win, which led them to the district final against the Baraga Vikings, a team that had made it all the way to East Lansing just last year. And the Hematites got the job done at Baraga's place, victorious 63-31 to claim the district title. Then it was on to regionals. The regional semifinal, another dominant win, thanks in part to the tough Ishpeming press. We saw the Hematites shooting layup after layup on their way to a 79-46 victory over Kearney NATO.
Then in the regional final, well, it was the same story against a feisty Ewan Trout Creek team. No match for the Hematites' length and experience. They raised the regional trophy after a 28-point win. Next, the state quarterfinal and probably their biggest test yet, battling for a trip downstate with a historically strong St. Ignace program. Ishpeming did not wane and left Gladstone with a 65-45 win on its way to East Lansing, the program's first state semifinal appearance in 50 years. And then it was on to the Breslin Center. The Fowler Eagles were next to learn about the Ishpeming press, and the Hematites put it on them with a 35-point win. Just one more to go for all the glory. And it was the earliest game that the Hematites had played all season, a 10 a.m. tip against the Kingston Cardinals in the final. Ishpeming fell into an early 11-point deficit, its largest all season, but the Hematites turned the tide in the second half on the wings of Janessa Eagles, 27 points, claiming their first state title in program history, 73-54, finishing the season 28-1. And let's dive into the season-long numbers a little bit. The Hematites scored a grand total of 1,932 points this year, nearly 67 points per game, while holding their opponents to a total of 1,211 points, or 41.7 points a game.
That's an average margin of victory, a tick under 25 points per game over the course of Ishpeming's transcendent and historic season. While his players executed between the lines, head coach Ryan Riegel captained the ship that led the Hematites all the way to the promised land. And he said his coaching journey is a rewarding one. To understand how Ishpeming hoisted its first ever state title trophy, we have to begin where head coach Ryan Riegel began, right here in Ishpeming Township, starring for the Hematites' rival school at Westwood.
You know, I was very fortunate in the area that we grew up in because it had a rich basketball tradition.
Following his playing days for the Patriots, Rico played college basketball at Northern Michigan, and the players he played with there still impact his philosophy today.
Well, I was externally motivated by watching the players in front of me. You know, Jason Marcotte, Heath Ellison, Dan Waterman, used to coach for Nagani. You know, these great players kind of taught me things the way to go. Forced me to be better in other areas that, you know, you don't typically try to get into.
Rico also learned a lot under longtime Westwood head coach Irv Dieterle, a UP basketball great who would also bring Rico in as an assistant until he assumed the role of head coach in 2011. But this stop on his journey wouldn't be a long one, only spending 3 years as the Patriots' head man.
The blessing to go back to your alma mater, but when you go back to your alma mater, you're sometimes looked at as the kid player. You're not as expected to be the adult, the respected coach. So that was a struggle for me as a young coach. And I was also still coaching like I played. A little too much fire on the sidelines, stuff that you take in as you get older. You start to navigate and try to find out what works.
Rico's short-lived time back at Westwood would turn out to be a blessing in disguise, because after leaving his alma mater, he'd be hired as the Ishpeming girls coach just 1 year later.
Fortunate for me, coming to Ishpeming, they embraced my kind of chaos of the way I do things, the passion I do it with.
Coach, we move forward now, 9 years here at Ishpeming. You guys are Division IV state champions. Was that a thought in your mind 9 years ago when you first took the job at Ishpeming that, hey, we're gonna raise the first state title for girls basketball?
That's been my thought since I got into coaching. I knew that as a young coach that I was going to try to do whatever it took to win. And if you fall short, it's fine. But I knew I was going to sleep well at night knowing that I opened the gym enough, I pushed these kids enough. Sometimes the players might miss some shots, sometimes the coach might call a bad play. But I knew that this was kind of a destiny, and I was going to do it long enough to make it happen.
The wave that you and Ishpeming and this team has created for girls basketball in the Upper Peninsula, really the next standard. What does that mean to you to know that, hey, now all these other teams in the UP are, what is Ishpeming doing? How can we learn from them so that we can improve our programs as well?
I think it comes down to giving all the kids an opportunity. Most of these teams, when you have 8, 9, 10 girls, finding ways to get everyone in the game is important. But you gotta have 10 girls, 8 girls, 5 girls, or whatever that are willing to get in the gym.
Over the past 9 years, his commitment as a coach has grown into devotion to his girls in the gym and devotion to his girls at home. Rico is now a father of 3 girls, and this season they were along for the entire ride with the Hematites.
Having my kids there, having my daughters hug me after a state championship was important. They've sacrificed more than probably most kids will ever have to, seeing their dad. When it comes to the dedication that comes to being a varsity coach.
A dream 13 years in the making, now finally reached. Rico's Hematites are state champions forever.
We had a goal. It's special. Just the whole experience with this group is you're never going to be able to replace. And the hugs, the tears, the sweat, the pain, the joy, those are all great things that come with this. And at the end of the day, we can say we're state champs for life. And I'm pretty proud to be part of it, and it's a pretty unique experience. And having my kids there and having this team there is, it's a lifetime of memories that no one's ever going to be able to take from us.
All right, well, we just heard about his journey through the coaching ranks, and now we're joined by head coach Ryan Rico of the Ishpeming Hematites, state champions. But obviously, as we just saw, you're not originally a Hematite. What did it take for a Westwood grad to be accepted by the people here in the community in Ishpeming?
I think it was more harder for my conversion. When I got hired, I didn't really understand what it meant to be a Hematite, but I was at the 4th of July parade. It just happened, and somebody was actually in the parade, and the first thing they yelled outside the car when they were in the parade, they go, "Welcome to the family." That was a pretty important piece because I didn't really understood. And then once I've been through it and been part of it, it is a family, and that's been a special part of it. And now I always tell everyone who comes to the district, we get kids that move in, and even if they don't play sports or not, I always have extra T-shirts and always tell them welcome to the family, because that's what this district's always been about. It's bigger than just the brand itself, the sports, the academics. It is a family, and we live with each other for the rest of our lives, and we take care of each other when we're down, and we embrace the joys that they do get when they succeed.
And then, Coach, speaking of family, you had some special girls with you along this past season for this championship run, your daughters. What was that like to have them there every step of the way, bonding with the team, and then them get to stand at the Breslin and watch their dad win a state championship?
Oh, that's a lifelong core memory that I don't think anyone will ever be able to take from me. Watching the girls was very special, but also watching the relationships they had with the players on the team. That's what makes it most important. My girls got the best role models ever. I mean, my youngest is obsessed with Jenna. I have their names Jenna or my kids' names tattooed on my wrist, and Nora wants me to get number 1. And then my middle child loves Lily Nelson, so I think I got to get number 12 tattooed next to Aria's name, just because those bonds are a lifetime, and you know what they did for my kids is exponential, and you can't measure it. They got the greatest role models, and they're going to probably be great humans because of the role models they had. But they also saw what hard work, grit, determination can do for a kid. And at the end of the day, I'm a blessed man because I got to coach a state championship team, and then I got to help kids, my own humans, potentially become state champs in life, and that's because of this team.
All right, Ryan, thanks so much for making the time, and congratulations again. We'll be back with more after the break. This is UP Power Hematites. Bring home the hardware. All right, well, Keegan, we just talked about some of the adversity that Ryan Riekels had to overcome during his coaching career, but let's talk about the adversity Ishpeming had to overcome on the court this season.
Yes, indeed, Kevin. Just a few blemishes on that record. Actually, just one coming from the Hematites' neighbors 3 miles down the road, the Negaunee Miners and Miss UP basketball, Ella Mason. It's a UP rivalry through and through, and only playing each other twice a year, both teams brought their best for each contest. January 12th marked the first meeting at Lakeview. The Hematites came home with a 68-59 win over the Miners.
Fast forward to February 9th, and it was a different story in Ishpeming. Negaunee made adjustments, Mason got buckets, and the Miners left with a 65-56 win, which turned out to be the Hematites' only loss of the season. Now, there's no doubt these games prepared Ishpeming for the talented teams they would later see in East Lansing. We caught up with Coach Riekels and Ishpeming senior Lily Swanson at the Hematites championship celebration to talk about that.
Those 2 games were really tough, but it made us so much better. We needed competition. We needed hard games like that. We honestly needed a loss, I think we needed to lose 1 game. So it was tough to lose, but they deserved it, and they're an amazing team, so they prepared us really well, and I think we both helped each other out a lot.
Having that game, we wish we could play them 20 times because it makes both of us better. And I think Negaunee could say the same thing. It helped on their run, endure a little adversity, and playing against such great teams, the nerves are pretty high going in, and I would play that game 20 times. I don't know if my stomach could handle playing it 20 times, but those games are great for handling the nerves, even as a coach and as a fan and as a player. I think everyone involved gets to enjoy it.
The Miners, of course, also made it to East Lansing, falling to Detroit Edison in the state semifinal to finish their season 26-2.
And stick around, because when we come back, we'll talk about Ishpeming's 2-star sophomores who were so critical in the Hematites state title run. You're watching UP Power Hematites Bring Home the Hardware. Welcome back, Keegan. We know this Ishpeming senior class was one of the strongest in the school's history with Jenna Mackey and company, but how about the sophomores? 2 of them that once again got the call up to varsity. Man, they are outstanding from the first jump.
They were indeed, Kevin, that being Janessa Eagle and Maya Himmer, who both played as freshmen, but the sophomore sequel, it was pretty sweet, Kevin. Eagle and Himmer broke out this season in large part because of the work they put in during the offseason. Coach Riekels has called the 2 of them gym rats. And with all the high-level AAU ball they played over the past few years, there isn't a more appropriate way to describe them.
And while Eagle worked on her 3-point shot, Hemmer focused on her moves in the paint. They even stayed in basketball shape while shining on the Ishpeming volleyball teams this fall. Eagle and Hemmer certainly reaped the benefits this year, and there's a bright future ahead for those 2. Just look at what they were able to accomplish on the biggest stage of Michigan high school hoops. In her 2 games at the Breslin Center, Eagle posted 20.5 points per game, including her remarkable 27 in the title game.
And where Himmer really got it done was on the glass. The forward grabbed an average of 9 rebounds in the state semifinal and final, which included 13 boards in the championship, in addition to her 7 points per game down there in East Lansing.
All right, almost time to wrap things up here in Ishpeming, but Keegan, we would be remiss if we didn't talk about all the women and girls that came before this team and laid the groundwork for what Ishpeming girls basketball has become. None were more important than the very first girls squad at this school, the 1974 regional championship team.
That's right, Kevin. They blazed the trail, and the 2024 team made sure to have them along the way throughout this entire state title run. Plus, Kevin, does it get any better than winning a state title 50 years exactly after your team was established?
No, it does not. The 1974 Hematites were the very first girls team here at Ishpeming. Not an easy road to pave less than 2 years after Title IX was passed. But they persevered, allowing the program to become what it is today, now a state championship winning program. This year's team took the time to recognize those ladies before one of their regular season games in early February.
Then when Ishpeming hoisted the regional trophy in March, the team again included the Trailblazers from 1974. Because when they won that title 50 years ago, not many people were there to celebrate them. Marge Myers, a member of the 1974 team, told us at the celebration a few months ago, she's just so proud to see how far the program has come.
The girls were so appreciative that we were Trailblazers, and they were thanking us, and they were teary-eyed from where we had to start to where they are now. It's like night and day.
I got a little emotional, a little bit of the chills. Being a girls basketball coach is special to me because I got daughters, and knowing what those ladies went through and just having a community come in for this.
Hearing from those two on that special day will almost certainly bring a tear to your eye. The program has truly come full circle.
And Ishpeming's state championship run was also a full circle moment for this year's seniors. Why? Because they dreamt of it nearly 10 years ago when they started playing youth basketball together.
Oh my God. Looking back at Lily's face.
They say a picture is worth 1,000 words.
Summer ball tournaments. Oh yeah.
But these pictures are worth much more to Ishpeming seniors and their families.
In your driveway.
In our driveway, yep.
Oh,
That was
one of the first years as the Blizzard.
As the Blizzards.
We were little 9-year-olds like dreaming of this. So just to be able to like have our year on the banner is really special.
Addie Morton's not kidding. These young girls in their early years of playing organized basketball manifested this moment, making it all the more sweet when the day finally arrived.
Thinking about it for so long, that was like our main goal, obviously, for all these years. So actually accomplishing it, it was crazy.
Coaching the girls back in the day was Addie's dad, Dave, and Jenna Mackey's dad, Greg. Reluctant at first, it quickly became one of the best decisions of their lives.
He gave me a call and said, one of the dads that were coaching them the year before is moving away. What do you think? I said, I don't know. I'm not really one to ever coach my kids. And kind of took off from there. We met in the gym and just started going through basics, layups and drills and run.
We made sure they were in shape.
Yeah. They really talk about playing here for Ishpeming and winning state titles. Were their dreams that big?
I would say
by 5th grade.
Yeah. Well, the thing too, when Coach Rico would get us time here in the new gym, I would often, Greg and I would have them on the baseline and I would point up to the banners. This is where we want to be. This right now, what we're doing, the off-season stuff, the travel basketball, this is our goal. This is our end goal, is to get here. We stay together as a group. You guys do this off the court, on the court. You keep it all together and we will get here one day.
For the dads and girls alike, reaching the mountaintop on March 23rd was a culmination beyond words.
I think we just turned and hugged each other immediately. Yeah. Both of us in tears,
Yeah.
All those years, and
it was amazing.
It just came to a moment, and it was just, like I said, the tears just flowed. And
the great thing about this group too is they've never forgotten about us. You know what I mean? In the district championship, they hauled us out onto the court. They wanted a picture with the two of us with the district trophy and those senior girls. We got in a huddle, and I said, I get choked up now. I said, this is it. This is what we've talked about. This is what we're working on. All these years, this is what we've worked for. Now we got to keep it going and let's get it done. Let's finish the job. And they did it.
While their dads continued to motivate from the stands, it still required an endless drive on the part of the Hematites senior leaders to get the job done in East Lansing.
All of us being dedicated, even the girls who don't love the sport as much as others, they still put in just as much work and showed up, through the summer, on the days when no one wanted to be in the gym. Those girls were there during the season, paying attention, just giving it their all.
What are some of your favorite memories from playing in your pre-high school days when your dads were coaching?
Definitely not our dads. I think we can both agree.
It was tough being coach's daughter. You got picked on the most and probably ran the most throughout practice.
And the most aggressive talks after the game, for
Yeah.
sure. But
our rides home were not fun.
no.
When it's all said and done, the bond between dad and daughter and coach and player are one and the same, and the memories will never fade.
Unbelievably proud. Every one of them. Every one of them seniors has a spot in my heart for the rest of my life. Unbelievable.
And well, one of the Dreamers joins us right now to close out the show. Jenna Mackey, you're a state champion. I know you're too humble. We're going to try and get you to be not humble for a couple minutes and talk about yourself. But thinking about the state championship run for you guys, when did you know it was possible?
After our first practice, because last year was not the best year for us. Just all the energy from everything, just it wasn't too great last year. So after our first practice, just how everything went down and how we all connected, you know, I knew that if we wanted to, we could do it. So that's when I really started thinking, okay, we can make this run this year.
And then Jennifer, you as a senior, the leadership that you showed this past season, what was that like to, you know, have the younger girls along with you and be able to kind of lead them to a state title?
It was really nice. I mean, it took a lot of maturing on my end. I mean, from my junior to senior year, I feel like I've changed quite a bit, especially with how I react to situations like close games and stuff. So it was really cool being able to lead these girls and, you know, them following through, like not just me bossing them around or anything, but they actually respected it, and it just made everything a lot better. So, yeah.
And Jenna, before we go, what do you think of when you see that trophy?
I think of the long hours in the gym, you know, the sweat and the dedication all of us put into the game. And, you know, I just think about like our city as a whole too. I don't just think about us girls. I think about like the whole community and how this is going to be, you know, something looked upon for years. So.
That's right. No one is ever going to take away that trophy, and that's going to do it for us. We appreciate Jenna Mackey joining us here to close out the show. For Keegan Cooper, I'm Kevin McNulty, signing off from Ishpeming.